show in store for you. A little bit later in the program, we are going to hear from Mr. Koppelman and Mr. Towery. But first up on High Velocity Radio this morning, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce a couple to you who are neck deep in the restaurant business. In fact, the name of this business is called We Sell Restaurants. Welcome to the show, Eric and Robin Gagnon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stone. We're so excited to be here, and as people can tell from our name, it's very difficult to figure out what we do. We sell restaurants for a living.
I love the literal, direct thing, but tell us a little bit more. What are you out there doing for folks?
Well, we're always up cooking some deals.
I like that. This is not their first rodeo, I don't think. What do you think, guys?
I think this will be their second or third.
We help buyers and sellers. We do site location for the food service industry, so a lot of folks come to us when they're even just looking for a spot for their business. But really, we try to specialize in thought leadership. As people are going out there and beginning to explore and decide whether or not to buy a restaurant, many times they come to our website, which is WeSellRestaurants.com, amazingly enough. And we actually wrote a book last year called Appetite for Acquisition that was picked up by a major publisher and is available nationwide.
Sweet. What was that experience like? And did you write it together, or did you go down to the basement, Robin, and say, get out of my hair and let me write this thing?
You know, that is a great question.
That'll be number 2.
You know, we are absolutely a duo in every sense of the word. So I would write, then I would bring it to Eric, because a lot of what we did that's very interesting in our book, it's very literal. It's step by step by step what you do to buy a restaurant. But we intersperse that with stories of actual restaurant buyers, although all the names have been changed to protect the innocent. And we'll tell you, you know, this is how you should do it, and then we'll give you a very funny story of somebody who did it the other way. So it's a great book. It's available on our website. And we have a lot of people that come to us, and they will do business with us for 3 or 4 years online, just kind of ask us questions, go to our blog, read about our articles, and then eventually they'll come to us to buy a restaurant. And obviously, that's where we want them, because that's where we make the money.
Now, have you always been involved in facilitating sales of restaurants, or at one time did you sell other things, or it's always been restaurants?
No, I think our background is diverse. We're in corporate America, like most people. Was in banking and Big 5 accounting, and then realized after 10 years or so that I was not a good corporate servant. So
I knew that when I saw how you were dressed. Some of us in the studio have socks on, some of us don't, for those of you listening.
correct. You guys figure it out after everybody spoke. Please call in and let us know. And so about 10 years ago now, this is our 11th year, we decided to do that, and had a good friend that was a restaurant broker in Charleston, South Carolina, and we were living in Atlanta at the time, and said, you know, Atlanta needs a good restaurant broker, and he was right. And so we started, so we just kind of fell into this. It's not something that, you know, I've yet to meet somebody going to colleges or high schools or anywhere and said, I want to grow up to be a restaurant broker.
You know, they say the same thing about being a radio host.
Nobody grows up to be
That's like your fallback position when you can't get a real job. So, I mean, really, in this economy, though, is this even a smart play, with all due respect, to get a restaurant or a bar in this economy?
You know what? It's actually the best possible time to buy. Think about it, Stone. There are more businesses than ever on the market. They're very leverageable, so you can put down a small amount. People feel comfortable in the restaurant business. I mean, who hasn't waited on a table or done a barkeeping stint when they were in college? So it's a simple business, and it's a business that is close to folks' heart, because, you know, we're now in this digital age. No slam to radio, because people love that, and at least they can still connect. But all the other ways that folks interact are so electronic now. The neighborhood restaurant or bar is still the place where people gather, they break bread, and they have a conversation, and they meet that guy across the table, and they meet that barkeep, and they go, you know what, this is what life is really all about, sharing and interacting one person to another.
And so what kind of mistakes have you got? Surely you see them all, and surely from time to time you roll your eyes and you go, here goes another one making mistake number 6, right? What kind of, surely you see some patterns, what kind of mistakes do people make when they don't take advantage of seasoned counsel and expertise like they get from you guys?
Well, I think the number one thing that we see is people get emotional. I mean, you know that people come to us, corporate refugees I call them, they come to us and say, I need to make $100,000 a year and I need a sports bar. And so here it is. And you walk in there and they expect to see a kitchen like you see in the movie, which is perfectly spotless clean, you know, nothing's been cooked. They're like, this is dirty. I said, no, this has been used. This is the smell of money. And
I like it.
you know,
This
and
guy's good, isn't he?
you know, I was like, no, this is not at all what I'm looking for. So they go down the list of our hundreds of listings that we have on WeSellRestaurants.com and said, how about this one? I said, well, this one is newer. It's losing about $10,000 a month. So, well, let me go take a look at it. And they go Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning, come in the office, the phone rings, this is the guy the first time. I love it, I want to buy this one. What happened to making $100 grand a year? Oh, I'll figure that out later. This is the one I want. So they get emotional instead of getting, you know, practical about the income. And a place that's making $100,000 a year in income will have a lot of wear and tear and usage because a lot of people are there every single day.
And so is this the kind of business where if you really don't know what you're doing, you could lose your shirt in a heartbeat though, couldn't you?
You know, it comes down to really, restaurants are about 3 different fundamentals. If you can understand your food cost, if you can make sure that you have a rent level that is sustainable based on the volume of the business, and if you can manage a schedule and control your labor costs, you are home free. It's not that difficult. It's really 3 elements. And we really try to take people through that process of, you know, again, educating them and teaching them these are the elements, this is the ratios you should operate within. If people can manage, where people get into trouble honestly in owning a business is again about the emotional element. They think it's cool, it becomes a hangout place, they don't run it by the numbers like a business. You can run it by the numbers, it's easy peasy.
And one great thing about the restaurant is there's so many resources out there. And like that's one thing that makes us successful, that makes us different than other brokerage firm out there is we're full service. If you need help with marketing, you need help with advertising, you need help with food costs, menu development, we have resources for you to come up.
And these are people that know the restaurant business. This isn't somebody that said, oh yeah, I could do a restaurant.
Exactly. It's not somebody out in their kitchen, so I got a great burger recipe and I want to give it to some guy, you know, cooking in a restaurant.
Right.
So that's part of it. You know, if you can swallow your pride a little bit and be open to new ideas and to, like Robin said, watch your numbers and get the right resources, the right team around you, you will be successful. It's not, you know, like trying to invent a widget factory here tomorrow.
So Lee's not here, or I would let him worry about this, but what kind of check am I going to have to write if I'm buying, you know, the RadioX restaurant? Is this a 7-figure check?
Well, Robin, you want to take
Well, we have opportunities on our website from literally free, take over the assets of someone else's business and start paying the rent, up to $1.2 million. So it depends on your comfort level, what type of earnings that you want, whether you want something that's open and operating today. You know, for something that has demonstrated earnings on the book, and that's really where we recommend people, and that's where we do our due diligence and go through the financials. Both of us have a financial background, and that's very different. Then based on what you need to earn, then you can spend as little or as much as you want to, and we can fit you into that price point that returns you the investment you want each year. Because people have to eat. You know, you want to buy a restaurant that allows you to feed your family and take care of your individual needs.
So walk us through the process on either side, and let's start with the buyer's side. So get on the other side of this radio business, got a little bit of cash, want to do something different. I reach out to you guys. I think I want a restaurant, maybe back down in Pensacola where I grew up, and or down in the Gulf Coast or something. Walk me through the process. Do we get together and we talk about what I might want? Or how?
Absolutely, because you know we have this phenomenon, we talk about it in the book called internet dating that happens with folks now because so many opportunities are available online. So they go online and they click, 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 I want this one, I want this one. And then they end up coming to us and they have like 15 different opportunities ranging from 6-figure income to, you know, a breakfast and lunch place to something that's open until 3 a.m. in the morning. So we've developed a tool, we call it the Restaurant Assessment Tool, where you actually sit down, you can answer 10 questions for yourself. Because buying a restaurant is a lifestyle choice. If you have a brand new bride and, you know, potential for new children in your home in the next 2 or 3 years, you're not going to be dad of the year if you go out and buy a sports bar that's open until 2 o'clock in the morning, okay? Same thing. If you are a husband and a wife team that live in a small area of Atlanta, a suburb, and you know, you early to bed, early to rise, you are going to be very happy in a catering opportunity. So we take you through the restaurant assessment tool, so we help you identify exactly what you're looking for first, and then present opportunities to you. We don't want to leave buyers just out there hanging on their own. We really want to take their hand and guide them through the process.